Yeah, so here as we get into this one, the one thing I haven't really mentioned is the Itchy Boy Ready to Destroy, Gonna Give It My Best, Hope You Enjoy. My daughter actually helped me come up with that. So that was something I kind of had a little bit of pride in, something that I really liked. It was just different. I never heard it. It was having, a motto or a slogan. It's kind of cool. So it's something I like to incorporate, but sometimes in the moment of a challenge, I would forget to say it and I would just edit it in later. So pretty much this isn't, I mean, this is a challenge, but I think the hardest part was cooking all the food. It took me many, many hours to get everything cooked and prepped. And then the right time of day was later in the evening. Once my family was done eating, I finally got to do this and take it on. And so everything wasn't like the freshest, but it was still, this is one of my philosophies. And kind of the reason I started doing all this stuff is because how important it is to have nutrient dense foods in your diet. And if you do, you can generally stay full on less calories. And that's what this video is really all about. And I don't think many people understood is that this is kind of how I eat. And this is how I stay leaner, is to eat these kind of foods rather than eating out higher sodium, highly palatable foods, higher fats, higher sugars. And that's not that they're bad. I don't believe in good and bad foods. And that's what I was getting at too. There is no clean and dirty foods. Really, they're just calories, and calories are neutral. They're just energy. So if you're gonna have, let's say, this kind of food, this is gonna give you, I think, the best energy. And so like today, I've been eating meals like this to try and feel better. And every time I have a meal, I can notice a surge of energy versus if I had like a McDonald's burger, I'd just crash. So one thing I liked about this challenge is I had felt the most full because of the fiber and the protein. But I mean, yeah, more full than the macho nacho, but I wasn't necessarily like miserable like that because that food just really, I mean, it made me feel bad. Versus this, I just felt super full and no poops, nothing like that in this one. It didn't happen until the next day. I was just very full going to bed, and then I just remember waking up the next morning and feeling great. And I actually slept pretty hard because I was so full, and only getting down, a little over 3,000 calories. I mean, that's the thing is if most people try and take on one of these dishes, it'll keep them full for most of the day. So depending on whatever your goals are, this is the kind of things I recommend incorporating. And it's exactly kind of almost a foresight into why I wanted to do a nutrition series. But I had to kind of bring out how some of my patterns and habits in terms of food go and my beliefs about food and nutrition, because in health and fitness, there's a lot of bad information out there. And this was one of my ones that you'll get recommends to eat like this. And then there'll be people that say they eat like this and then they don't. So it's, they'll show that, but then in the end, maybe they don't. There's a beer in there and there's a Coke. There's all sort of different flavorings because when you do challenges, there's this thing called flavor fatigue. And it's something that you just get tired of the same flavor and your body rejects it. So I actually have a technique for that in a calorie deficit, which is going to be in Coach's Kitchen. It's a series I'm doing right now. Is, if you really want to say, get leaner and you're getting those points, you're in a deficit and you're craving, man, I'll binge on something till I just like hate it. And it's a way to deter it. And then the next day I'll just run a higher deficit. And then I generally don't have that craving anymore. Now there's some foods I've done with that and it doesn't work because I love them so much. And there's other foods that, it works really well. Like I have a number of them I won't eat them again because I ate so many. But that's kind of what this is getting at is ate all these foods super full and I would still eat this stuff now. Like I still love it. Just because I was full, I didn't feel like trash after. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And so I didn't even use those fluids that are down there to try and change it up. If you'll notice that too, that's something different. But yeah, it's an interesting video. I like this video, but you're noticing probably at this point too, is I'm still using the same camera equipment, audio. And at some point I know I got to change that because as I'm watching and editing the videos, I can tell it's just like very, very low quality. And I'm just doing what I got. Like it's kind of how you got to make this happen is just to start somewhere. And I heard that as, if you're trying to put out videos, just start somewhere. And the very first video I did was my pizza recipe. It's one of my favorites because it's so bad. It just shows my starting point. I filmed it with a phone. The audio is not good. It's 20 something minutes, but it's one of my favorite pizzas in a deficit. And that's kind of the point is if you want to get started with making videos, just put something out there. Even if it's not good, it doesn't matter. And I've heard that over and over. So pretty much you could tell, yes, miserable, but the next day I was fine. I actually did crack into that beer, I guess, to have a little bit of a taste, but obviously didn't finish it, a couple sips and that was it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Had that food the next few days and it was delicious. So just reheated. And that's pretty much it for this one. So we'll kind of recap up this week here in a minute and talk about what's coming up. So till then, take care. Peace out.